Welcome to the War Team's Entrepreneur Foxhole Podcast. Your host, Ben Williams. Your host, Martez Sims. Where military veterans in business discuss critical issues to win on the battlefield of entrepreneurship. Ruck up and rock steady.
We are back again for podcast. This will be number six. Podcast number 6. We got a special guest.
Very special.
Very special. We have the honor and the privilege to have someone that is doing incredible things in their space. She is traveling this road for entrepreneurship just like we want, and we want to have guests on here just like this. But without further ado, we have Miss Ana Avila.
Yes.
And she is going to start off by telling us who she is and what she does and how she do it and how great she is and everything like that. I just want to make sure everybody knows she is amazing at what she does, and we're lucky to have her here.
Thank you so much, Ben. That was a really nice introduction. I am really honored to be here with you guys. Thank you again for the invitation, especially being back in our hometown. It feels great to be here. My name is Ana Avila. I am born and raised from El Paso, Texas, and I am a model, actor, I'm a leadership coach, I'm an entrepreneur. I do all the things, right?
Yes.
So it's been a decade, longer than a decade, going strong.
So with that being said, what got you started in that direction? Like, that's not very common for people from El Paso, at least I don't think so. But what got you going in that direction to pursue that?
It's a funny story. I actually was going to go to the military, and I was a pre-med student, and I never thought that entrepreneurship would be for me. However, since I was a kid, I would go door to door with my siblings. We used to go door to door. So technically, I've been an entrepreneur since I was a child.
Wow.
Right? But as far as really taking entrepreneurship to the next level, I think at the time I didn't know what route I wanted to take. And I was kind of listening to the outside noises, people suggesting you should do this, you should do that. And at the time, I was just in a position where I just wanted more for myself.
And what moment was this? Was it something that happened? Was there an important time you just said, hey, this is where I'm going to pursue it, I'm just going to be an entrepreneur? Or was it something that happened in your life or anything like that you can tell us?
I was actually going to school full time, and I was working 3 jobs.
Okay. Wow.
And I was just hustling. I was about 18 years old, 19 years old. And I know how to work hard, but until I learned that I could work for myself, things really started to shift. And I don't know if you can tell already, I'm really good at talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely tell that.
So I was just might as well use some of my strengths that I have and really utilize them to create something. But at the time, I was really struggling financially and more with time. I wasn't taking care of myself because I couldn't, right? And it's funny because you think about entrepreneurship and then you tell yourself, I'm not going to have a boss anymore, but then you have to work harder for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't mind doing that because you're working for yourself.
Yeah, people don't realize the responsibility that comes with entrepreneurship. You say you don't want a job, but at the end of the day, when you're an entrepreneur, your responsibilities double down, maybe triple down. And so when you had 3 jobs and you're working 3 jobs and all of a sudden you said, hey, I'm going to do this entrepreneur thing, what was was there any pushback from family? Was there encouragement? Was it, because it's not really normal here in El Paso. What was happening in your life that maybe you could tell us a little bit more?
I did get some pushback because I was going to go to school, and I was going to finish. And at the time, nobody understood what I was trying to do. My family, a lot of my siblings are in the military, and I almost went to the military. I actually was at the recruiter's office, taking the mock test and everything.
Okay.
I did the thing.
We know a little something about that.
A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit
The mock test.
Yeah.
And I think that in that moment, I just had the drive to just go hard, and I wasn't shy at the time. I was not shy. I think because when you're working out of desperation, you're just willing to do everything and anything. And at the time, that's where I was.
Right.
At the time, that's where I was. And just working really hard for somebody else. At the time, I mean, I was 19 working 3 jobs. I really just utilized the little bit of time that I had. Like my entrepreneurship journey started with like 1 hour a day.
Wow. And so when that started, and I commend you on that because you said, came out of desperation, and a lot of times things happen to us just because of that. Do you feel like right now where you at, are you on the trajectory that you want to go? Is things happening in the direction that you want them to go?
I would say so. It's just sometimes you see things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a vision of where you want things to go or where you expect things to go. And sometimes when it doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
you could choose to give up or you could choose to like look at it differently.
Okay.
Right? Just shift your perspective and just continue. Okay, I could continue to revisit the plan
Mm-hmm.
and set the goal, or I could just give up completely and just say I'm done with it. For me, I don't know if it's pride or it's grit or what, but I don't know how to quit.
We know you have this amazing resilience, I'm supposed to say, but where does that come from? Like, you're resilient in every way. You've had all these setbacks. You've had a lot of things happen to you. Then you can go into if you want to, but we know that you've had that. Where do you think the resilience come from?
I don't really, you guys have been in the military and thank you so much for your service. I think when you're in a position where you don't know where your next meal is going to come from, or you don't know if you're going to make it to the next day.
Yeah.
And maybe you guys could relate to something like this, right? Maybe my story is not as intense as some other people's experiences, what you guys have experienced. But as far as my experience, when I have been in those situations where I don't know where I'm going to eat or where I'm going to sleep or what's going to happen, something from inside of you gets sparked where you're like, I'm not going to give in. Like, I'm just going to figure it out, whatever it takes.
Yes.
Whatever it takes.
Yes. Okay, so yesterday Ben called me and he says, we have Ana Avila coming on and she does this. And I'm like, okay, that's good. That should be interesting. And when I got off the phone with him, I did some more research. I'm like, oh, he really didn't do her any justice. You know?
Thanks, Martez.
But, I want to try to make sure, if we have enough time, I want to try to make sure we unpack all of these different aspects of you and your life. What the people don't know right now is you were Miss El Paso. You were Miss Texas. Tell us what started that journey and what that looked like for you.
Wow. Reminiscing back on that journey for me it was intense because I did pageantry for 12 years. Mm-hmm. And growing up, I always wanted to be a model. You see all the pageants and Miss Universe and all things, right? I grew up watching all of the Nuestra Belleza Latina, all the things on television, So my family really wanted me to go into that. But that for me is what my dream was when I was a child. Mm-hmm. However, life happened. And actually, I didn't get the opportunity to do that until I was like 21 years old. Okay. So I started I have people that start early. I started my journey later, but I was already an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship gave me the freedom to pursue my pageantry career, which is great because a lot of times, when you think about that realm or that industry, you don't realize the work that goes behind it, right? The speaking and the coaches and the hours that we get to put into the healthy, active lifestyle.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you see the glitz and the glam and the dresses and the crowns and the shoes and all the things, right?
Yes.
Which is a lot of fun. But to prepare for something like that, it takes a lot of work.
I know I couldn't do it.
I know, right? The hills.
You look great. You look great in the crowd.
I couldn't do it.
But one more question, though. You said you were about 21 when you started that journey. Mm-hmm. And I think this is important because I think it's the basis of who you are afterwards. So you started at 21, but when did you know that you wanted to pursue that?
To be a beauty queen?
Yes.
For me, since I was a kid, little girl, I would watch TMI, right?
It's not. Absolutely not. Let's go.
I would watch the television in my shirt and my shorts, and I would I would be eating, like, I would have my meal on the side, and then I have, my parents have pictures of me, like, exercising while I'm eating, and I'm watching the pageants.
Okay.
So I would say since I was a little girl, but, you know, as life happens or things happen along your journey, you lose focus, or you also lose, inspiration. You start to doubt. Yes. Right. And you have to learn to overcome all those things. There's certain circumstances in my experience happened that I didn't know how I was going to get out of that. Yeah. And when pageantry came into my life, it actually helped me with my self-confidence. It helped me understand myself a lot more. And it's like reading a book, right? When you read a book, you have all these different chapters. And for me, pageantry opened up so many aspects of myself that I had forgotten about.
Yes.
Wow.
Interesting. I think that's extremely interesting because if you are that person that when you were a kid in your t-shirt and your shorts and your food and you're getting up thinking, I want to be this person, or I want to do this, you want to hear the rest of this podcast because she's going to show you how she became the person that she is today.
And also having the right team with you, I think is important. You know, I've had some of the most amazing people that I've gotten to work with along my journey, and people that genuinely cared about my success as it was their own. Yeah. So for me, I was truly blessed to have that community behind me and to just be at the forefront of that.
You want to send us some shouts out to some people just to help you along this journey? I'm sure.
Oh, I have so many. There's so many to count,
okay.
You know, and it's just so, and they're from El Paso, Texas, right? So with me being a leadership coach and a health and wellness coach along my journey, not only did I get to coach myself, but I also got to help mentor a lot of the young women that came after me.
And to help somebody in our company as well. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm talking about Jay.
Yes.
And he needs all the help he can get.
Don't let him see this.
I'm going to tell you, Jay.
I'm going to tell him.
He's going to see it.
I'm going to call him afterwards like, I'm so sorry.
No, really, we're going to have him here, you know, because he's doing some good stuff. I'm just messing with you, Jay. All right, just mess with you. So you're here, and I know that from my understanding, I want to make sure I got this right, kind of back and forth from here to LA. And so can we talk about that? What's life like with that? I mean, are you living here? Are you living in LA, or what is it going on? You got some projects going on or something like that?
The way that I've worked my entrepreneurship journey,
okay,
I'm just a very curious individual.
All right.
Okay. I like to learn, and I've lived here. I lived in other parts of Texas. I've opened up businesses in other parts of Texas. And I've been working that way for a long time. Right. So it's like, I'll go to a certain location for a little while, and then I'll go somewhere else to go learn. Depends on the project that I'm working on.
Okay.
So right now it's going to LA and doing my acting career.
Okay.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of learning. There's a learning curve that goes into everything. When you jump into anything, I think, not just entrepreneurship or acting or modeling or coaching, right? There's a learning curve that happens. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'll jump in and I like to learn as I go.
Okay. Now, Martez and I, we spoke about this, and I gave the story about, hey, my wife's got this friend that's does stunts, and she talks about the relationships out in L.A. Have you developed any relationships that's going to, help in the progression of what you're doing? This, some projects that you're doing?
I'm really good with people.
Okay.
I'm a people person. And I've had some incredible relationships out there, and people that are genuine, right? Sometimes you don't see that all the time. But as far as my experience, I've met some really interesting people. Okay. But I've also met some people that have helped me or have guided me in the right direction and just showed me, like, this is what you could be doing. Don't do that. Definitely don't do that, right? But I guess it just kind of depends on what route you want to go with. And if you position yourself with the right people, I think it goes with anything, right? I think your intuition will tell you. For me, I've learned things the good way, but I've also learned things the hard way. And I think you get to learn from a lot of those experiences. It just depends on how you choose to look at it.
And it seems like your intuition has been right. You know, you've gotten where you've gotten to, probably following your intuition. And a lot of times in entrepreneurship, that's what it's really about. I mean, as me as a person that's traveled some of this journey, I got to go with my gut sometimes. And that's really, people sometimes when you question your gut, I would just say, just follow your gut, you know, pursue your dreams and follow your gut. And I commend you for doing what you're doing. Do you think that from where you sit right now, if you had the opportunity to do anything differently, what would that be? And maybe share it with the listeners?
So along my journey, I haven't always listened to my intuition, right?
Forget that.
No, don't forget it.
Don't forget it.
Don't forget it.
I think it just comes with maturity and it comes with experience, right? For me, when I was younger, I didn't. And even though like something inside of me told me not to, sometimes I wouldn't listen, and then I would have to learn, right?
There you go.
So I would say that. And then also it's like, I expect so much out of myself and I demand so much out of myself because I just wanted to be my best. And it was never about competing with anybody else. It was just about, I just want to be my best, right? If I can go and do something, I want to try that, and why not? And for me, I had to learn grace, not to be so hard on myself. Yes, set the goal and work at it and go hard and understand what it really takes and have the discipline and be willing to go and do the work, but also understand that you don't have to be perfect.
Amen. Yeah.
So I'm sure, we haven't talked about this, but I'm sure with the things that you've done and the path that you have chosen, someone that loves you a lot has probably said, why not a traditional job? So I'm asking you, why not a traditional job?
I'm not going to lie, I've thought about it. There's been times, it's like when you hit your certain peaks, everything feels great. Yes. Right? And then you have to go back to the drawing board because you have to keep working. Right? Nobody has to do anything, right? You get to. Yeah. Right? For me, that's something that I had to learn, right? The understanding of I get to wake up. And sometimes when you're in the valleys, it's hard to have that kind of mindset, to have that kind of attitude, to be able to wake up and say, I get to do this today. And it feels great when everybody's telling you no and things are not happening the way that you want them to. Right? How do you get out of that? Yeah. And there's been times where I'm like, I'm just going to go back to school. I'm just going to go and get a regular job. And it does happen to me often still.
But you didn't.
No.
So why not a traditional job?
I don't like being told what to do all the time.
Yeah, there you go. So tell us.
Even with, I mean, I do have bosses and things like that when it comes to like when I do my projects.
It's different.
It is different though, because you're working as a team to create something. Yeah. Right? You're creating a project. When you're working with producers and directors, it's a little different. Like yes, you guys are working together and technically they are your boss. But to me, like the way I look at it, I'm like,
you have creative latitude.
Yes, we're creating something together. For me, I'm like, we're creating magic. Yeah. Right? Because people can relate to that, whether it's a film or I'm getting on a runway. To me, it's like when I'm inspiring somebody, whether it be a young girl or a young man, it's like if I can do it, if she can do it, I can do it. Yeah. Right? So
it's funny you say that because that's the pivotal piece for me. I spent 21 years in the Army, 22 almost. And when I got out the Army, I said, okay, I got this job, right? And I just found myself, I was like, I don't want to be tied to this desk. I don't want to be tied to this desk because somebody told me to be tied to this, right? And now when I got in real estate, entrepreneurship, I found out within myself that I will freaking die for freedom of my time. Yes. Right? And I may not make more. I don't know. Right. But just the fact to have control over my time, even though I probably work more now, and you probably know that, than I probably ever have when I had a job. But it's because I have freedom of my time. And people don't realize that's the whole thing with entrepreneurship. It comes with responsibility, but you have freedom of your time when you want to do it. but you have responsibilities. And I love it. You know, to me, I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world.
I love that you brought freedom because, I mean, that's what you did for all of us in the military. However, when I think about freedom, I think about just freedom of being able to have the thought to think for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
I like it.
Not a lot of people think like that or even know how to do that. But also you got like having the right mentors, I think also helps. Like, yes, even though like you work for yourself and things like that, I think that having the right people around you, right? Just even being around here with you guys, us talking outside, I've already learned so much from you. Right. So I think that is extremely important. Right. And people can give you advice and at the end of the day, it's still your choice to have the freedom to choose.
Yes.
I'm going to take this and I'm going to use it.
Yes.
So.
And some people are just so scared to jump in this world. But for the folks that's not and really grind and really do the things that they want, it's amazing. And I commend you because you're doing amazing things. And, thank you for sharing.
Okay. So, what do you say? What do you say to that young lady out there, that little girl that's looking at you or maybe knew what she wanted before she even met you or seen you here, but she wants to do exactly what you're doing, all of the things that you're doing, the beauty pageants, the acting career, the coaching, the motivational speaking, you're an influencer. That's what it is. What do you say to that little girl that's standing up in front of the TV
in El Paso,
from El Paso, in her t-shirt and shorts, eating her food, watching the pageant and doing all the things that you did when you were her age? What do you say to her?
Don't be afraid to be yourself.
Yeah.
And don't let anybody rob you away from who you really are.
Yes.
If that's really what you think that is for you in your heart, don't ever let anybody tell you who you are when you're not.
Yes.
I've had my journey, and at times I've listened, and the times I've listened to myself, like really gotten deep with myself, is the times that I've thrived, because it doesn't matter what anybody else says at that moment. When I can look at myself in the mirror and look at myself and know that I did everything that I wanted to do, that my inner child or that little girl inside of me wanted to do, I'm fulfilled.
I love it, love it. So, all right. Usually we land the plane about now.
We have to.
Yeah. All right. Last question. All right. If you wanted to, what message would you tell people if they want to contact you, want to connect with you, want to follow you? What would you tell them?
I would say that throughout my journey, throughout coaching people and throughout being around people, I'm still the same person. It doesn't matter like the things that I've accomplished, right? And there are times where I'm a little bit more private than others, right? However, choosing to rise above the circumstances, that doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what happened. You can overcome a lot of those things, right? And if you see me out in the street, just know that I'm going to be smiling. I could be going through a lot, but I'll still be smiling, and I'll still choose to have a positive attitude, and I'll still always choose to be around the people that are going to uplift me higher, and choose to stay away the ones that do not.
Okay. Nice.
And follow her.
And your social pages?
Yes, my Instagram is anaavila.official, and then my Facebook is Ana Avila, and just look for me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Very good.
You send us off, man.
That's it. So you saw an amazing interview, and you'll get to see the exact same thing if you tune in next Thursday. We have another special guest for you. Tune in.
All right. This is Entrepreneur Foxhole signing off. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.